Which I almost forgot to mention is interesting that he plays because it means that he plans in order to have a game plan going second. That makes me lean a little bit in his direction. But this could be easily be either player's game. Mirrors like this are always interesting to me.
All right, we've got the UK versus France. And the mirror matchup is quite tough. Mid Shadow to represent for Meow, kicking it off. And Mensou's going to start out with Sword. But they're going to need to fight each and every other matchup possible in this mirror, and of course PDK is banned on both sides. And I feel like it's a pretty comfortable starting hand for Mensou. Take it away, Envy.
I definitely love that our tournament meta has turned into mid-range meta. It's incredible. But yeah, as we definitely thought, both dragon decks are banned. Both Prime Dragon Keeper dragon decks are out of the way. And Mensou's hand, yeah, like Rainey said, I do agree. It's a pretty okay hand until he drew double Council of Card Knights. That's not very great.
Mm-hmm. The Council of Card Knights, we saw it just absolutely take a game against this exact matchup earlier because of its ability to fuel a Bladed Hedgehog and how it reversed the advantage of a Thane. But really how Mensou develops here is a big question. And that he's not running a Floral Fencer or anything like that for a turn 4 plan. He just has Genos in that slot. So going second is something that Sword usually has to adapt to more than any other class. It could be strange to see how he tries to make up this difference.
He drew all 3 of his Council of Card Knights. Interesting. This is the first turn Meow was able actually to use his Demon Eater, but I imagine Prince Catacomb will happen instead. He had to pass up his 2 play point turn and just use his 3 play point turn to make the Chimera, but Catacomb probably seems like a better play. Even though Bladed Hedgehog kind of almost counters that in a way, right? Like
Bladed Hedgehog, funnily enough, seeing it in this circumstance and how threatening it is against Catacomb, it makes me think of like a reverse Spirit Reaper or Shadow Reaper, or its old name.
Shadow Reaper, yeah, a card that used to be in almost every Shadow deck. The stealth follower that got bigger when your own followers died is now on the opposite side almost. This Bladed Hedgehog is gonna get really big.
Ooh, and Mensou has a pretty juicy White Paladin here as well in order to wall off these skeletons. The 1/1 wards will be able to trade into them, which continues to feed the Bladed Hedgehog, which might end up being protected by the Council of Card Knights. I'm not seeing a way in Meow's hand to actually pass the wards and deal with it. I'm wondering if this...
Even has the staircase, even. Oh, gosh.
I'm wondering if this game might not end up being decided by Meow's ability to deal with a single hedgehog with a sword in its mouth. It's like it's doing
this
4
actually might
here.
end up being Hedgehog closes the game. Oh my god. He actually banishes a ward even because he made room for the staircase, but that's probably worth it. And this Hedgehog swings for 4, only guaranteed to get bigger next turn. Oh gosh.
This is not making this better. So Meow can draw for something. This could be solved with simply finding a zombie party. I suppose that would be the most important card for Meow to find here, but with the way Shadow destroys its own followers to draw cards, drawing for an answer continues to feed the hedgehog.
That is a very, very double-edged Bladed Hedgehog. This is not good at all. Meow could take upwards to 8 damage from that Hedgehog next turn in the face.
I imagine Mensou probably won't evolve this Hedgehog for more damage either, just because he could then also be playing around Soul Squasher.
That gives him access to removal. This is now a 6-attack Hedgehog if he swings in and breaks this White Paladin. Oh my gosh.
Well,
that's the list. He doesn't find it. Oh no.
It could be a 7-attack Hedgehog here.
He's gonna have to Demon Eater looking for Zombie Party. You have to find Zombie Party or the game is over, I think.
Right. This, I suppose these past few games have heavily changed my mind on Hedgehog. I used to think it was just a slightly above average on its stats sort of follower, and now my eyes are open.
Well, I mean, realistically, it just absolutely destroys Shadow's game plan, so that's... I think that's the point. And this is now a 7-attack, 2-drop Hedgehog. This Hedgehog is way too big. Oh my gosh.
That Hedgehog is the size of Lord Atomy. Or is now threatening to be. a single whole-souled swing off the top, and Mensou could make it so, but the power of a council here, I think, is too strong to pass up.
Right, that is indeed a very wholesome whole soul swing, but council just kind of, ends. Honestly, Albert Evolve Face would probably just end the game as well. There's not really many options that Meow can play around here.
In fact, Albert would just leave him 1 off here.
Yeah, right. We see again a player has the option to put his opponent at 1. We'll see if he chooses to do it or not. With 3 Council of Card Knights in hand, I think it would be worth it, maybe, to put him at 1.
Perhaps. At this point, I'm thinking this Bladed Hedgehog has now made it so far that no matter how Mensou decides to play this out, Meow has passed the window he had to try to deal with it. And that just fed me a bit more information in that first, defending it with Council of Card Knights was something that impressed me. Now I see that the White Paladin is also part of it.
Oh my gosh. An
So is Mensou now just...
An Evolve can happen face on the Hedgehog, and I actually like to play a lot because it makes Albert Evolve completely fine when you have the Bane. And never mind, he's going to evolve the Bane. Okay,
I think he's actually just playing for the Hedgehog.
Yeah, I think the Hedgehog is a win con, man. Just let it play. This actually still sets up Albert lethal, so. In a Thane top deck, that's absolutely worthless at the moment.
Well, at the very least, this Death's Breath is his... Well, he could go for Saber Alter, and an Evolve there, plus a trade, could do something that could make killing the Bladed Hedgehog a 50-50.
Oh, he could 50-50 the Hedgehog, you're right. Oh,
I'm just
boy.
trying to simply
you go for it?
derive.
Do you feel lucky, Punk? I don't think he does. He's going to just play the Death's Breath.
Yeah, absolutely not. Even if he hit the Hedgehog in that scenario, I think he was still lost to almost any play from Mensou, so mounting the wards here is just fine.
He would still lose. It would leave the Bane on the board, which will allow Albert to evolve face, so. This is interesting. He's going to actually buff the Hedgehog, setting up the Dark Blade Fiend next turn. Oh, gosh. That...
That's a lot of cards found. So he has a second win condition in his next Hedgehog here in case the first loses its legacy. But 2 whole-souled swings, along with a Cahulan. I'm trying to...
That's
I think he has it, yeah.
He does just have lethal evolve. One of these... Oh my gosh, this Hedgehog is going to have 13 attack. Oh my gosh.
Wait, that is a Bahamut Hedgehog. That is the biggest
Hedgehog
stat
is now
line
the
in
strongest
the game.
follower in Shadowverse.
The Hedgehog's attacks did more than 20 damage this game.
Forget banning out a faction. Can we ban Hedgehog? Oh my gosh.
Is Hedgehog actually just the win condition of Midsword? Like
at
that point,
of Midsword against Shadow, yes, probably.
Ugh. Yeah, I suppose it does fall off very much against a lot of other matchups, but seeing it go off that much against Shadow is just unbelievable to me.
That was I got some PTSD flashbacks of Shadow Reaper right there.
Now with Mensou's sword
Shadow
out of the way.
Ooh, those are fun.
Right, and I think their lists are extremely similar as well. In fact, their opening hands are almost identical.
So I imagine this will be a very mulligan dependent, and also whoever goes first or second in this is probably going to play a pretty big role in this matchup.
Especially with Series of the Night coming in as such an ideal turn 4 evolve. And it kills a lot of things in the low body follower base, or the low statted body follower base of Shadowcraft. I suppose what Mensou is contemplating now whether he wants to keep it. Going for early draw and having the followers to be able to use things like Demon Eater and Soul Conversion on is a big part of Shadow's game plan here. But I suppose he could also just be...
double
perhaps
series.
he decides he just wants to keep the Skull Beast.
Usually having a 1-drop going second is not the ideal play, but I think what you just mentioned, the chance to draw into Demon Eater is a good way to get plus a few cards on your opponent, so... The
Soul Conversion, just in case. Usually the way this interaction, as you mentioned, plays out is playing a 1-drop as your very first move when you go second, plays directly into any 2/2 body, then you're now deprived of being able to trade into it effectively, so that makes the turn 2 of the second player very important to try to get that tempo back. But
Right,
only
and he's not
option
exactly
being
drawing
soul
anything useful, so yeah, instant soul conversion. Ugh. That hand, oh my gosh.
And Bone Chimera is not a bad 3-drop, but funnily enough, Belinus and Lyriel are 2/2 drops that have an adept ability to deal with skeletons.
Yep, this is pretty unfortunate for Mensou. He does get to evolve first next turn though, so he will have. Oh my gosh! Oh no. Never
the
mind.
The train of thought you were on there, I agreed with, and it looked like that series was going to be very valuable, but Prince of Catacomb changes everything here.
Yeah, Prince of Catacombs makes that very awkward. He will still just have to play that though, just to try and get a little bit of the board back, and also get that nice heal going on.
Series of the Night, though, I think that a situation like this makes it such an interesting card in that there's so much value to be gained from being able to trade and not take damage in return. Means that effectively you could compare it to something that evolves into a 3/8 body and killing a 2/2 like that, and then also healing 2 on the side, and then also not being a card that one can trade any low health follower or low defense follower into. Just
Right, yeah. There's a running theme, I think, for like sort of keyworded cards in Shadowverse. Sweet Fang Vampire, one that has drain, doesn't work on your opponent's turn, right? Like when they attack into it, you don't drain. But Ceres is a card that, you know, because of Clash, will always trigger that 2 damage.
Though Meow did have several ways of dealing with it, it seems that it just occurs to the back of my head that the fact that Meow had to exhaust a Lurching Corpse combo or consider using a Soul Squasher on a 4-drop like that is an immense amount of pressure for a 4-drop to put on.
Definitely. Mensou getting the Shadowcraft Curse treatment, whatever you want to call it, drawing double Ether back-to-back.
I suppose he has a good way into it going from here on. Unfortunately, he decides not to evolve into it, perhaps fully wary that he just gets a relatively small trade in here at the risk of this series becoming vulnerable to Little Soul Squasher, but still gets the heal and has a pretty good curve next turn going Death's Breath into Yaktar.
Right. So Ceres doesn't actually have to evolve for her Clash effects. Nothing on the board can fight her at the moment. So he's actually not too scared of things evolving into her, because it's kind of awkward. Dark Blade Feed could, but it's not the best play. And it might actually be what he goes for this turn.
Dealing with Ceres is a lot more interesting than I first imagined now that I look at this. It's just so difficult to get through that, and decides perhaps to just simply commit his own Ceres into it.
Okay, Belinus is the play, it seems. Okay. It will only put Belinus at 1, so...
Find this to be a very cool line of play in that Mensou's Death's Breath is not really a very a sturdy one against a board like this.
Right, these Belinuses are set up to randomly snipe things. Ceres can attack one of the 2/3s and kill it on her own without dying, which is incredible.
Still not needing the evolve, and it capped Meow back to full defense. So this just seems like such a tough board spot for Mensou to try to just simply play out his curve into. But what other options has he here? He has a little Soul Squasher target, goes for it.
Soul Squasher, Lurching Corpse, Demon Eater looks like it's going to be the play instead. I kind of like that a lot, actually. It's, you can kill the Ceres guaranteed if you evolve Soul Squasher here. And that's what he goes for. Okay. Oh, never mind. Ooh.
Interesting. It seems that...
Oh, gosh.
All right.
Oh, gosh. We're going to 50-50 the Ceres. Oh, gosh.
Killing the Belinus, I don't think is a game-endingly unfortunate thing. Does happen. But it does open up the series to an amazing value trade. Not to mention that Meow is...
with it. He's got Ether available as well, so...
Right. Primes for that. So Meow is given another decision. He could throw a lot of damage and pressure face with this Yaktar, The other cards in his hand almost all collectively deal with this very efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
You could choose to save shadows and simply play a Saber Altar, but in doing so, would only leave up the... he actually goes for it. I was about to say, one potential thing about this is that he would have to use a lot of other shadows on Little Soul Squasher, and there is an Eactar in his hand that would like to have them.
Oh, I like that soul conversion play instead. That's pretty nice. You clear the board 2 shadows, but you also stay within the 8 range of Eactar by being at 9, so...
Very cool play. How does Mensou come back against this? He does have an Eactar. But committing one now would probably demand he use his last evolution point to get a clean fight through here, and even then, the zombies from Eactar cannot challenge Ceres whatsoever, because as you said, her effect of dealing 2 damage before the fight happens occurs on both players' turns.
Very, very awkward to attack into, right?
And being 4-2 rush bodies, they are not ideal trades against Saber Altar herself.
Oh, looks like he's gonna go for the Eactar trade. And that's gonna that feels so bad, because it's gonna leave... Oh, he doesn't have 8 shadows, actually. He doesn't even get the... Yeah, he doesn't have 8 shadows.
Right.
Still getting used to new Eactar.
I completely analyzed that turn based on my memories of what Eactar once was. Funny though, in this situation, in this context now, that does make it so much more difficult for Eactar to do anything.
Especially because an evolve had to be used on that, and then Soul Squasher just comes down to punish it. And Meow is actually still at 6 shadows, so he can just get 2. If his board just dies, then he actually has access to new Eactar, unlike Mensou did last turn. However, Mensou does now have new Eactar.
Did you know that Eactar actually has a, or at least Ceres has a special voice line that she plays when Eactar is summoned? Or
Does
no,
she?
when she is summoned while Eactar is on the board, I'm not sure if the English version has this, but she greets him in a very polite way in Japanese and calls him by name. I find that very, very cool.
Interesting.
Well, new Eactar is in here now. Unfortunately, these zombies merely are here to trade into zombies.
Such is the zombie life.
And now this is a wonderful
Lethal?
time for
This is
Eactar
lethal?
Evolve. Let's see. 3 plus 4 plus 4.
5 plus 6
2.
plus evolve? 13? Easy peasy?
Yep, that will be exactly 13. And we don't have to calculate Ceres doing anything two-face with her effect. No. That said, I think the most important detail of this game, and something that I actually didn't know myself, Ceres appeared to be at the absolute center spotlight of that mirror match. It felt like the entire rhythm of the game depended on how much value players could get out of their Ceres. And that is not something I was aware of before.
Ceres is an interesting card. If you play a lot of Shadowverse ladder, you might not think Ceres is that great, but she's really interesting in the sense that she goes for very great value trades on board. She wants to fight for the board more often than anything in the game right now, and I think that's just incredible. I love cards like that.
All right, here we are, back to the symmetry of how we started.
Mother, father, come on.
Just the reverse matchup.
I feel like there is a lot that can happen in a matchup like this, in that now that I see how Shadow plays in its mid-range form with Ceres, it seems that, as you said, it really wants to hold onto the board, and that's how it tends to finish its opponent off, with good setups, surviving resolved attackers to get more damage with Eactar. But Sword plays so similarly. It almost plays in an opposite way now, with Mars being a reverse Eactar, in that you resolve her first, then everything you play after that gains the additional initiative.
Right.
But either way, 2 very board-centric decks.
Which is super fun to watch, obviously. I haven't said it enough, I think. Triple Veteran Lancer, though. I'm not sure if that's going to be great for Meow.
Right. So he has a path he can take here. He can play the Veteran Lancer and simply hope that it goes up into this Lurching Corpse for minimum value from the corpse's effect. Or, this poor knight thinks he has it all. He can take out that corpse, but knocked out by the backswing.
I think that's better since Veteran Lancer can be played with Mars later on, so that's honestly fine. I don't think he cares much about that sacrifice.
And this turn 3 for Mensou is not looking like he has much to do here. Perhaps a question he's asking himself is, this Demon Eater, it does give him board initiative in a very, very small way. But he actually goes for it. I was saying at disadvantages. Although he has the soul conversion, perhaps something he was thinking is he doesn't really have something that he can reliably use the Demon Eater upon later. So he decides, rather than try to hold it and get something afterwards, he's just going to play it now and try to get something on board for this Prince Catacomb to go off on.
And I think Meow senses that completely going second, you'd probably want to trade anyway, but he does just use the Storm Follower to kill the Demon Eater, so it can't be used in the way that Mensou wanted it to.
Still has the soul conversion, so that this Skull Beast is a pretty interesting draw. Another Demon Eater.
Pretty quick zombie party being used is interesting. Mensou would now have no way to clear anything off of the board. A Floral Fence was a very clean play.
And Zombie Party was probably one of the most powerful, I would say, like, sort of late game, sort of mid game plays for him. And that his hand is not really going particularly anywhere quickly. He didn't really have another one of those 7 drops as part of the curse of playing Shadowcraft. So decides to use it up there instead of playing a 2-drop.
I never thought I'd see the day when Floral Fencer Evolve Pass was the on-curve play.
I find Floral Fencer to be such an interesting conclusion. A lot of people tend to say that Sword struggles so much and has to play so differently when it goes second, but Floral Fencer single-handedly makes that difference a lot more difficult to notice. Unfortunately, Saber Elf hitting a smaller one, but doesn't seem the damage interval is going to be a big difference. Now, this is a really, really strong Mars, I believe.
It makes the turn a bit awkward, though, because if you play Mars, you probably want to play Veteran Lancer to Protector, and if you do that, you kind of can't kill the 5-3 effectively without evolving the 2-2 on the board, so this is kind of weird.
Right, on second inspection, there's no evolve in Meow's hand except for Albert that can actually deal with this and survive the trade. So he may just simply be forced to use an evolve point here to get through this. Or
he's going to go for a Whole Soul Swing, I guess? Yeah, okay, yeah.
And I don't imagine he would commit the Mars here, and that it just doesn't seem safe to resolve. So perhaps he just goes for one of his Veteran Lancers, tries to get a little bit of initiative on board.
I like it. And Mensou's hand is kind of okay against this. Draws the Eater again.
Goes for Belinus and has a variety of options here. Either Prince Catacomb would give him funny enough, the same statted board against Meow, but with a little bit more durability to it. He also had the option of trying to draw for something else with Demon Eater, risking a way to kill the Knight. But I think this gives him a much more solid board composition if he would like to try to get some value here off of Yaktar next turn. But even then, unless Meow trades both into both of these and into one of the skeletons, it might be a little difficult to ramp those shadows up to 8.
Right. I imagine he will trade, though, since that's kind of the point of what Mars is good at. And the Quick Blader top deck allows him to play Mars, Veteran Lancer, Quick Blader. The Belinus effect his triggering is going to make this a little bit weird, but I think he can pull it off.
So this line of play leaves him with followers that can only evolve up to 5. And as you said, it could be a little bit awkward in that any of his evolves is now at risk if he does try to take this Belinus off the board, of now just eating it from that Belinus effect. So he doesn't evolve it
now. Okay. It's the ward. I think that's fine.
I like this line of play very much. Minimalizes the risks. The only risk really being that he does give Mensou a lot of shadows by making those trades, but perhaps, as you said, he has to, as that is the game plan of mid-range sword. It's just that this Eictor is a lot of pressure and a huge body, and Meow's hand is really running out of ways to deal with things like a 5-6 body.
Mensou's in a weird spot too, where he could just play Eictor right now, trade the board in and pass with a 5-6 left and nothing else, on the board, or he could throw in one of the skeletons rather to get zombies out of it, to get 3 base damage. But it looks like he's actually just going to do what I said the first time.
Cool line of play, and that he does gain these shadows anyway. He gets the trades he needs. He has a body that's hard to deal with. And then he has another Eater that he can go into.
Ooh, incredible top deck and Council
Perfect.
Card Knight's allowed to Evolve the Bane here too to take care of that if he wants to.
I think the most significant thing that is keeping Meow in this game is that he's been so conservative with his evolution points. He's been able to find ways to challenge the board without needing to use them, so now he can get a lot out of them. He gets a lot of board initiative off this play, and he still has another one for Albert. That means Meow's next draw could be very important for him, in that he probably doesn't want to commit the Albert next turn, but he wouldn't want to pass it either.
He also still doesn't have to evolve. I mean, even a second Eater would go face for, what, 7? You don't even care. Or 8, rather.
That is true.
It won't be long now.
And never mind, he does choose to remove this Eater. I guess the threat of getting hit for 8 is a little bit too high.
While that does effectively deal with this Eater, as I said, I am sweating a little bit thinking about what Meow can do next turn, because the residual board left by this Eater is something that he is going to have to find a way to challenge. He has one value
He'll
trait.
just get a second Council. Easy peasy every time, right?
Just needs them all back again.
Oh my gosh.
Are you a
Caster
wizard?
curse.
Actually did it.
Easy. But the thing is, do you want to evolve the Bane this time? I think he doesn't. I think he wants to save the evolve for
absolutely not.
Albert. Swinging for 10 next turn. It's going to hit by Soul Squasher, but yeah, I agree completely with saving the evolve.
It's a lot of damage, and if he wants to, a single attack from the... So here, I guess this heavily depends on what this Lurching Corpse is going to hit, but if that Eactor has to hit the ward, then one swing from
33%
Albert
chance.
does kill it.
God.
Right. I'm thinking in any scenario, Albert does clear that. Ooh. Second best target. But I suppose right now, without really being able to play around the thought that his opponent has an Albert in hand, he knows that Bane itself is also really ready to just push him back off the board, take initiative back.
In
Solar
reality,
Lancer
though, he
feels
is fine if he commits to if Meow commits to Albert here. He's got answers in both Soul Squasher, and even Death's Breath, like the following after. So, I think he's fine. You don't take enough damage for this to matter.
Yeah, and I think this Lux draw is huge because Meow has the option to play this Albert and play around Soul Squasher by not evolving it. He would still have a very clean way to clear the board. Though, evolving it is perfectly fine as well. He would get a lot of pressure here. Oh no,
He's
he
going
does
for
actually...
a board control Albert, and I like that. I like that a lot. He knows that Mensou's best plan is to Soul Squasher this. And Albert can keep his double attacks. He can keep doing it.
I'm stuffed.
Defensive Albert, when he kept the Bane on the board, that was incredible. I love that.
Right. I'm amazed by this play, actually, because I'm trying to rack my brain through for what Mensou could have drawn to immediately deal with it, but really, it's just
There's not much
no
in
good
his deck.
options.
There's really not much outs when you're out of evolves and your opponent doesn't play into Soul Squasher. So his best play is going to be Death's Breath into probably Bone Chimera. I don't think you want to waste the Soul Squasher just yet. You want to hold that as long as you can. So
Does his best to mitigate this damage, but he knows Albert is able to just simply throw himself over these zombies completely unscathed. This is a very
well,
fine
he does
time to
take
drop
damage now. No, he does take damage now. So
Oh, right. By unscathed,
he does
I
still
mean
have
he
double
survived
strike,
it.
but he does take damage. Ooh, Mars and Front Guard General, amazing draws.
Right. Front Guard General, with a quick glance at Mensou's board state, is going to be a massive Titan that's going to be difficult to deal with. The Mars gives him one more zombie clear here.
And really, realistically, that Mars was incredible to draw when you also had just top decked a Novice Trooper, because that does just kill one of the zombies for free. Albert kills the other two on his own, and you can go face for one if you really want to, but you're still at 20 life with an Evolve left. How does Mensou win?
Gosh. I couldn't say because
He's
this
gonna
evolve...
Lux. He doesn't care if that
Yeah.
gets Soul Squashered. So Albert
That
gets in,
evolve
puts
is
him
smart
for
too.
4. Oh gosh.
Oh, Mensou needs to materialize a Foul Tempest out of thin air here, really. The actor
He
is
needs to
something,
create
but...
a Bahamut somehow.
right.
Ictor's a semi-okay start if only he was one more shadow into the effect.
I don't think the Soul
Imagine-
Squasher is a... Well,
Dark Blade Fiend has to be the play, right? Squasher into Dark Blade Fiend?
He could Eekter and simply use the Squasher as a part of it, trying to get this rush off, and then he does get
Oh, they gain rush. That's
board
right.
initiative
Right.
back.
Yes, they all gain rush, so he can't clear the board.
Yeah, that Eekter is actually a super massive swing for him here.
What a great answer. Front guard general is still a giant, massive thorn, though. So, and that was actually an incredible answer. Realistically, he flipped that pretty hard.
Right. It's like the Eekter. The more I thought about it, I thought now thinking about new Eekter, thought most of his utility tends to be from the zombies. He can create just an 8 damage anywhere, but his ability to convert Soul Squasher into 2 removals there itself was quite amazing. Saber Alter going to use up some more shadows, in this case giving him a very solid hold of the
Dark
board.
Blade Fiend is pretty good, it turns out. This Geno's not going to go far enough. This is
Right,
actually all of a
that's
sudden
typically-
Mensou's side of the camp. If he gets his third, I think he has a third Eekter left. If he gets that, the game is over.
Right. And then I think Meow is exhausted of really any active, powerful, pressuring cards here. And that this Floral Fencer is really just a vanilla Goliath. He can't evolve it. He has used them all now. So it being Mensou's initiative to attack, he doesn't have to. His larger
Electric Corp's
bodies
not
are.
the best top deck, but it could be next turn. He chooses the clear, and we have board control. Board control happening when your opponent's at max life. If Meow gets Albert or Lux, Hedgehog, that's
A
pretty good,
Hedgehog.
maybe.
That
Oh
is
god.
actually a fantastic Hedgehog. It survives this board. The Lurching Corpse can't do anything to it off the top. Oof. And I think
This is
Mensou,
really
having
just
played
up to whatever the players draw into. This is insane. This is nerve-wracking.
how many Eekters we've
Own
seen
Chimera
today?
pretty
I've almost forgotten how many have been played this game, but I think it is quite unlikely that Mensou finds another Eekter immediately. Could be buried anywhere in his deck.
Fangblade Slayer is
That's-
huge. Oh no.
But as it does do a lot of damage, the Bladed Hedgehog adds a lot too. Mensou could draw anything to get this Lurching Corpse in, and he has a chance to get that off the board. A lot of damage in the meanwhile, though.
Oh no, Ceres is not good enough. That's just gonna. That's just lethal.
It goes up to 9, and then the Fangblade
Oh
Slayer
right,
does
Ceres
another
will
3.
heal. You're right. You're right.
Oof.
Ceres will heal. He had 7 with the effect of the Hedgehog and the Fangblade
Right.
combined, but Ceres will heal. Sorry. Okay.
2 damage
I'm
from
more
hand from
calm.
sword.
Yeah, 2 damage from hand with
I'm also
sword.
on
I
the
don't
edge
know.
spicy.
Can you do it?
Oh, and he has no good trades to make. I think this Lurching Corpse is the most important detail of Mensou's game plan here.
Right. The fact that it can't attack followers. That puts him 1 off now because he traded in that.
Yeah.
And Albert
Oh.
off the top trivializes everything. Oh my gosh.
Then Albert is it. Albert is
That's
5 more damage than he needs.
There
Oh,
it
the
is. Meow with the Albert double strike will take the win against Mensou, and that was an intensely close game. I wonder, in your mind, was there any particular turn or decision being made there on either player's side that really swung in their favor? The turn that stuck out to me the most was